Hey guys, how's everybody? It is Fridays with Donnie, man. You know I love these days and sharing my journey and just the things that I'm into and the things that I'm doing, man. So this episode is all about going for it. And there's a lot of reasons I'm looking forward to doing this episode, but, you know, I've decided, for me, it's time. It's time to unleash, do the things that I've been telling other people to do, and just go all in and bet on me. Stay tuned. I'm going to go big. I'm going to go loud. And you're going to love the hell out of this episode. Hey guys, it's Fridays with Donnie. I'm Donnie Boivin, and this is Donnie's Success Champions. How many times can I say Donnie in one freaking sentence? Holy Lord. So in this episode, it is all about going for it, man. I can tell you without a doubt that as I was driving back from a speaking engagement in Dallas, I had an opportunity to speak in front of about 40 entrepreneurs, talking about their businesses. And, you know, I realized here I was standing on stage, inspiring and motivating people to go for it in their lives. And I'm telling them, they've got to go big and loud. They've got to step into the fire, and they've got to start doing the things that they know they should be doing to really light their company up and get their name out there and put a face or a brand behind their company. And, you know, I had this weird epiphany once I was driving home. And as I was driving home, like I do, I was listening to some videos and I was floored because I was listening to the story, and the story was about a guy who, before he went to college, told his dad he was going to be a basketball player, he was going to play in the NBA, and, you know, through circumstances, didn't work out, and finally, you know, he got to where he could play in the NBA. And he made one statement in that video that just resonated with me. And he said, am I playing an A player or am I playing as a C player? And he realized that he was playing as a C player. Once he decided to play as an A player, man, everything changed. Everything moved and evolved. And I started thinking about my business and what I'm doing and what I'm capable of doing and the lives I'm able to impact and touch. And here's what I realized. I'm playing a C game. I'm not going loud enough on what I'm doing. I'm not putting my brand out there on a regular basis to go for it. So this episode, stand by, because that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going all in. I'm betting on me. I'm stepping into my fears, and I'm fixing to really blow some shit up. So here's some of the things you're going to start seeing out of me to do just that. I mean, and the biggest thing is you're going to see me louder and louder. And I'm not talking about volume of voice. I'm talking about just stepping into who I need to become. See, man, I know me. I'm inspired, I'm motivated, I'm intrinsically built to command a room. I know it. When I stand in front of a room and I give speeches, I know that all eyes are on me. And 99% of that room is listening to the words coming out of my mouth. And the reason I know this is because of the conversations I always get into afterwards. And the number of people that want to take pictures with me that are happening, the number of people want to shake hands, those type of things are happening. Now I'm going to up my game. So here's some of the things that I don't know how to do. I've got great theories, you know, but I didn't know how to start a podcast. So I figured it out, and that's what I'm about to do. So some of the things that I've got to start doing is I've got to get more speaking engagements. You know, I've got to get myself out there on stages on a more regular basis. So I'm going to start researching where do you find speaking engagements, right? Where do you go find these places to be the guy in front of the room? And how do I start winning those opportunities? And it's just sales. That's all it is. And it's like in everything else in life. Once you know who you're selling to, it's just a matter of getting to them, getting an appointment, getting a conversation set up, and working towards an outcome. And so I'm going to start deploying that strategy to get on more stages and get my brand out there further and start impacting and changing lives. Because what I've realized is I'm being selfish. I'm good at what I do. I'm really good at helping people find that light, that fire inside of them to step forward and accomplish something and do the things that scare the shit out of them. And I'm not putting out enough things to get them to step off of their comfortable world and into the land of uncomfort so they can go for it. And that's selfish on my part because I'm not consuming what I'm preaching. It means I'm not doing what I'm telling others to do big enough. I mean, some aspects I am, but now it's I've got to up my game and go for it and push for it. And, you know, damn it, it's if I'm going to do this, then I've got to bet on me. You know, I've done one international speech, right? So technically I'm an international speaker. I want to do more of that. I want to go see more countries and inspire, impact more people. But the only way I'm going to do that is by inspiring more from where I'm at, right? And getting in front of more rooms here and speaking to more people here and start constantly going bigger and deeper and further. I need to be putting out more video content. You know, I sat with a gal after my speech today, and she's done a really cool thing. She's taught her dog to smell for allergens that her son can't have because he has Crohn's disease. And there's certain things he can't eat. And while talking to her, I'm like, you got to be documenting your story. A lot of people don't know what you did to teach this dog to smell for allergens, you know, and for you, you're in it every day. And, you know, other people would love to know how to do that for themselves or for their kids. And I'm like, you've got to start telling that story. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, you're got to do the same thing. You know, I put out a bunch of videos. I put out a lot of content, but I'm not documenting enough to allow people to see the grind, you know, not the grind, but see the things that I'm going through and seeing the things that I'm doing. You know, my family sees it because they're right beside me all the time through everything that I'm doing. They see the intensity. They see the hours I'm putting in. But if nobody else understands the impact I have on people and what I'm doing, then I can talk to them blue in the face and it's not going to accomplish anything. So you're going to see me start documenting a hell of a lot more of a lot of things that I'm doing on a regular basis. And it's wild, man, because this whole business ownership thing has been just insane as I continue to try and figure it out. And it comes down to simply that, you know, you don't know what you don't know. And even though I've gone for it bigger than I ever have, it's still not big enough. This whole thought process of, am I championship game material? Can I play in the big leagues and go toe-to-toe? And I tell people all the time, I don't care who the stage is, I can hold my own in any arena and be in front of it. And, you know, the crazy thing about that is it's the truth. But I'm not doing the work to get out there on bigger and better stages. So I've got to start doing it. I can't be lip service to, I'm going to do all these great things and then not do the things that I need to be doing to get there. So I've got to put it out there and I've got to unleash and really go for it and step into it. And I think as a business owners, we often get caught up in the minutia of business. I think it's really hard to step off of, at least it is for me a lot of times, it's hard to step off of, I need to get this done like a job mentality versus building that business and the processes that need to go along with it. Because if I were to think like a business owner, then all this stuff would be in place. But it's that constant battle of employee mindset that comes back in for me to be able to step up and do more and further and go for it. So, it's really easy for me to give others advice, right? It's really easy to look at somebody's business and immediately know, okay, they should be doing this. And I do that for a lot of my coaching clients, and I'm good. I'm really good at helping people move forward in that direction. But at the same time, the cobbler's kid has no shoes. It's really difficult to look at your own business and do those same things. And the problem is, and it goes back to always, is I know I've got to do all the work. Because I'm not going big enough in the business. I'm playing at a C player rate to make it bigger. And this C player, is the guy that's going to keep my business small. And I've got to become the A player. And I got to start doing what A players do. And that's put in the work. And, my coach right now, he's like, Donnie, you got to understand one thing, bro. He goes, you've got it. You've got the gumption. You've got the grit. You've got the drive. You've got the tenacity. You've got the fortitude. You've got the makings to be that guy and to go freaking loud and nuts, but you got to remember you're just getting started. Well, I get that. I know I'm just getting started, but I'm still not going loud enough. I'm still not going big enough. And it comes back to I've got two choices. I can play a C player game and keep playing small, or I can step into it and start going bigger and start doing more things and getting louder and really starting to shake things up. It's not a matter of good enough. It's a matter of going bigger, because I'm doing good enough, but I'm not going bigger. It's things like there's some huge-ass conferences coming through the U.S. that are still looking for speakers. I should be on those stages. I should be standing in front of those rooms and lighting them the hell up, because I can handle those rooms, right? And I know that, a good friend of mine, Patrick Mudd, looked at me the other day as we were on a Zoom call, and I said, I know I've got to put in the work. I know I've got to go from the little stages to the medium stages, the bigger stages. And he said, bullshit. Dude, tomorrow somebody could call you and you could be on the biggest stages in the world. You just got to put yourself out there. So that's what I'm doing. And he's right. Same thing for you guys. You guys got to put yourselves out there. So that's what I'm talking about, is I've got to step up and make my name known. And, God love my friend Trish Lito, who teaches Facebook Lives and doing these 5-minute lives. That girl is crushing. I'm so proud of watching her, what she's doing. She was at Vayner 2021 or whatever the hell it was called. She just got picked up for another thing. And, it's all because she's doing the right things, right? She's not sitting back and just putting things out there. She's consistent. She's regimented. She's plowing through. And it's an amazing thing to watch, because the payoff from the work she's putting in from that consistency is crushing it. And it's really, really, really a cool thing. So that's what I've got to do is, I've got to get more and more regimented with my stuff. And I do a pretty solid regimen, but it's not enough, right? It's not disciplined enough. So I've got to put more and more out there and go for it. So I mean, it's things like I need to be going Facebook Live daily. I need to be going Instagram Live daily. I need to be on LinkedIn and releasing videos and content daily. I need to be engaging and building out my brand and let people start seeing and embracing my passion of what I'm doing. Because look, if I don't get out there and stack up against some of these gurus, then people are going to continue to learn practices that aren't going to work for their businesses. And I can't continue to let these guys share these horrible sales strategies. And I've got to get in the game to change the game, because it's horrible to see some of the things that are taught nowadays. And, because so few of people who are in the sales game can pull off what's being taught. And it really pisses me off. And, it's starting to really piss me off that I'm not changing the game and teaching a different philosophy and teaching a different methodology and getting people more fired up to go for it themselves. Because, look, people have blazed a trail. I know me. I don't care what trails blaze. I have to carve through it my own way because I only learn it when I get punched in the face by it. And, I can take courses. I can do all this. I've got my coaches that are helping me along the way, but I've got to put in the work. I've got to go screw it up. I've got to, take all these theories and lessons and go through it so I can evolve. The courses and stuff for me are not a shortcut. They're a different way of learning, and I learn by doing, and I'm not doing enough, so I've got to start doing. And it's like the talk I talked about the podcast last week is you can't invest in all these courses and all this other stuff until you have a business. And I finally I've got my business model down. Now I just need to execute on the louder and crazier things. And, I need to learn the sales process for my business to get on these bigger stages. I need to learn, not only where the events are, what they are, but I need to learn who I need to talk to, whom I'm reaching out. I need to learn how to reach out and how to have these conversations. And I need to go screw them up. I need to get punched in the face.
Hey guys, it's Donnie here, and I just want to let you know that we've recently launched a content development company, and this company helps people get social content. You need to put out a lot of content nowadays to get engagement out there in all your social platforms. Well, we've come up with a really cool way to help you get videos, blog posts, memes, social posters, and infographics for whatever social site you need. So check us out at successchamps.us and learn more about how you can get social content for your social media.
Support for this podcast comes from Point Blank Safety Services and Blue Family Fund. Point Blank Safety Services does safety differently. We know everyone is on a journey, and we want to make sure you get where you're going safely. Professional, trained, ready. There's really no comparison. Here's why hiring Point Blank Safety for your next project will make all the difference and save you huge amounts of stress and hassle. Point Blank Safety Services provides certified, uniformed police officers for a full suite of armed guard services. Don't leave the safety of your project to chance. If you're ready to make sure safety truly comes first for your next project, then visit us at pointblanksafety.com.
You're listening to Donnie Success Champions, where I believe everybody is on a journey. Life is all about the stories you can tell and teach later. You're going to hear the stories of people who have overcome hardships, failures in life to find success along their journey.
By doing it wrong and then learning from that and then keep moving forward so that I can evolve and get better approaches, better processes, better engagement to get out there, because I should be impacting bigger and more lives. And I know I do a lot with this podcast and I reach thousands of people, but man, I should be reaching tens of thousands, 20s of thousands, 40s of thousands, hundreds of thousands, right? On such a massive level, so people can finally figure out their role in life and, what they're doing and figure out why they're not successful, why they're not finding that path, because, they've tried everything. I know, I've been there. You go to sales training classes, you go to seminars, you read books, and none of that stuff works. And, I could even look at people and say, you've got to take action on that stuff. It's not that. You've got to start doing the things that scare the shit out of you. That's it. right? You gotta go screw up. It's not failure. You just gotta screw up on purpose by doing those things that are freaking you out, because that's when things start working, and I need to go start screwing up some more of those things so I can start evolving and becoming bigger and better in what I'm doing. It's about constantly stepping into this story that I'm living out and continuing to go bigger, 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 because if I don't stretch my limits, then how can I expect anybody else to stretch theirs? How can I expect anybody else to step into their fear if I'm not doing it beforehand, right? I can absolutely tell you, you want to figure out what you're made of, quit your job and go start a company. That's it. You really want to figure out what you're made of and what makes you tick? Have no backup plan and dive in and watch it's the scariest and creepiest thing in the world, because until you've really stacked yourself up against it, it's really hard to figure out what you're made of. That doesn't work for everybody. And I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just telling you that is an option to figure out what you're really made of. If that's not what you want to do, call the biggest freaking client in the world that your company could do business with and have the guts and the courage to pick up the phone and make that dial. And don't hesitate. Don't wimp out on that. Step into it, step forward and make it happen, right? Make it a part of you and embrace what you did right and really embrace what you did wrong, right? Because that's where everything happens, is when you step into it. Because, I can tell you, for me, going through this process, I've learned from the screw-ups, not from the theories, because the theories have all proven wrong. I've learned what a grind is. Really truthfully what it takes to move my business forward. And it's tenacity, it's regiment, it's doing the same things you should be doing over and over and getting really, really consistent with it. And then keep doing those things, but do more of them, do them louder, do them bigger. And it's understanding that what I'm doing now will become tomorrow's comfort zone, right? It's those things that are scaring you that I'm not doing, the things that are holding you or me back, is when I step into those, that becomes my new norm. And it's constantly pushing forward to get that level bigger and louder and further so that I can evolve and go further with it. And, for me, I've got to find more places where I'm uncomfortable, because I don't know what the maneuvering is. I don't know what the right play is. I don't know what the next step is. And I need to step into that and do more of that. I'm caught up a lot of times in the minutia of my business and making, sure this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. And I'm not, fully stepping into the different arenas and learning what's next, and grinding it out, because I'm caught in this vortex of, I don't know, it's almost like I'm trying to build some sort of comfort zone for me and some sort of place that I can plateau and relax, when I know it's not about plateauing. It's about evolving and growing and doing more things on a more consistent basis, because I'm learning that I think we're naturally built to bring ourselves back into this comfort zone area so we can repeat our life, in this comfort zone of non-change. And they say growth is on the other side of fear, but the truth is it's not on the other side of fear. It's why you're going through it. right? It's expanding. It's the evolutionary process that you go through as you're going through whatever that fear is. They say it all the time. It's about the journey, not the destination, because it's in that journey that you discover everything you need to discover to do more, be more, and evolve. And I said it in last week's episode. It's looking at your career and going, have you actually evolved, or are you repeating the same years over and over and over and over again, telling yourself that this is going to be the year, but you're not actually doing the things to evolve and to grow and to get better, So if I'm not getting negative comments, if I'm not, getting pushback on ideas and ideals, then it's because I'm not putting enough things out there to rattle enough cages, because, what I'm doing is not easy. It's not meant to be easy. And I'm not teaching some sort of fake magic pill, type of thing. I'm literally just walking people through what I'm doing and what's working for me. And in doing that, it's forcing me to do things that I've never done before. It's forcing me to create speeches. It's forcing me to explain things in a way that makes sense and that people can remember. It's forcing me to develop my storyline in the way I tell things, and, which is forcing me to evolve to do things I haven't done. I'm a Q&A speaker. That's my style of speaking. And what I'm evolving to is learning to do the Q&A on the back end, but to really be that powerful punch on the front end, so people are engaged enough to want to have the Q&A. They want to ask questions, and I've got them to a state of comfortableness where they're willing to ask the questions. And I do a pretty good job on it, but I do that on a micro scale, and I need to be doing that on a massive scale. I need to be exploding and going so big that people are knocked out of their comfort zone by my ferocity and ferociousness of speaking this message, and getting out of my comfort zone to go louder and louder and louder. It's frustrating that I'm having this conversation with myself. I'm excited you guys get to hear it, but that's the reason I wanted to do this episode. Is we don't often enough push and challenge ourselves. We're not punching ourselves in the face. We're going through minutia and zombieing out on life. And, I'm caught up in that same realm. And this is creating a trap for myself, an accountability measure for myself, because now that I'm putting this out there, I have no choice but to do it, or the entire world gets to know that I'm full of shit. Right? If I don't go for it, if I don't push myself, if I don't go bigger, then I'm nothing but hot air. And I'm nothing but shit, because I'm blowing smoke up people's asses and not doing something with it. And the toughest portion of that is the patience side of things. Just like the next guy, I know I should be on those big stages. I know I should be talking to those big rooms. And I know I should just be lighting people up. But I also know this. I've got to put in the work to make that happen. I've got to put in the work to make that big enough, and I've got to put in the work to be able to inspire people to go for it, because without that work, it's not going to happen. And that's what I've got to do, is I've got to continue to put one foot in front of the other and continue to get tenacious and go for it. And it's the same thing, man, as every other story. It's not about what you accomplish. It's about what you overcame. And if I want a bigger story, a more impactful story, then I've got to start overcoming bigger obstacles. I've got to start overcoming bigger things and keep pushing forward and let people really get to know me and my message and what I do and be that torch, man. I should be able to go into rooms and light people up and really build something that people can step into and embrace, you know, just like I do in front of a room. I should be able to do that anywhere I go and help people on their journey because of me going through it. They can see what it looks like for somebody to do that so they can do it on their own terms. And to where I get to be the guide and they maintain that hero status, you know. And that's what all you guys are. I look at it this way. You guys are success champions, right? You guys are people that are just badasses that are built for it, built to go. And I'm showing you through my tenacity, my grit, and me going for it is hopefully firing you up to go for it. You know, all along the way, I'm taking you guys on this ride, on this journey, so you can see what I'm doing. And so it makes it easier for you to go get punched in the face doing it, right? Doing it just my way is never going to work. You've got to hear the words coming out of my mouth and then go apply it to your life and then push through and go through and do it and watch what happens. It's the only way to learn anything. I mean, I talked to a buddy the other day, and he's on the opposite end of the spectrum as I am. He's spent times building out all these courses and all this stuff, and he's trying now how to figure out how he builds his business around everything he's built. I'm in that stage of I have a lot of things, ideas, but I'm still building all the stuff. But we're both still going for the stage. You know, we're both trying to get to that spot where we're raising our energy level up and our voice up and getting things bigger and louder and more tenacious. And it's interesting when you start getting around other people that are trying to accomplish the same thing that you're accomplishing. It fires you up, right? And you need to look at it that way. You don't need to look at it as it's competition. It's somebody that it's a running partner, somebody you can go along with and try and go louder and louder and louder and louder and go, because, man, it sucks going at it alone, and it's tough. So here's what I'm telling the world, man. Hold my beer and watch this, because I'm about to blow some shit up. I'm really about to go nuts and put my money where my mouth is. So stand by for just a lot of coolness coming down the pipes, because, man, I was born for this. I was put here for a damn reason, and it's to help people get out of their own frickin' way, and, man, that's what I'm going to do. So, man, I got to tell you guys, thank you so much for the support you're giving me through this show. It means a ton. Thanks for embracing this journey and this ride with me, and, my God, thanks for being you guys. Keep running, guys. Keep going for it, and just watch what happens. Go big and loud, man. Bet on you. You got this. Later.
Thanks for listening to Donnie Success Champions podcast. If you'd like to hear more about our current guest today, or if you'd like to hear stories from our other guests on the show, come hang out with us on our website at successchampspodcast.com. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you need to reach out to me for any reason, you can catch me at Donnie@DonnieBoivin.com.